بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم. I welcome you to the lecture on the linkages, networking and partnership for the university faculty and staff. As a matter of fact, this lecture was part of my two lectures which I delivered on the 7th of August while I was in National Academy of Higher Education under the HEC, and more than 40 young faculty from different parts of the country and universities were participating. The main objective of this lecture was to highlight them about the importance of the linkages, networking, and collaborations, and how the young faculty can benefit from international and national linkages. The first part of my lecture has been focusing on the importance of linkages, networking, and partnerships. And on the second part, I mainly highlighted the importance of internationalization of universities and how a university can get benefits from internationalization. So this is my brief detail that currently I'm the Vice Chancellor of Karakoram International University. Formerly, I was Vice Chancellor of City University of Science and Information Technology, and before that, I've been working with the Allama Iqbal Open University as a Director of Projects and Planning, and this has been a very enterprising experience for last 30 years, almost as an academia and servicing officer. I did a couple of higher qualifications, my PhD in civil engineering, and then I also did MPhil in economics, MSc in structural engineering, MA economics, MSc or MS environmental design, and then I also got gold medal in the BS civil engineering and the postgraduate diploma in the computer sciences. I have a professional experience of more than 30 years spreading over academia and management, and had been working in top positions for a very long time. I authored 4 books in the areas of project management, civil engineering, disaster management, and also the project delays and economic analysis. Currently, I have authored more than 35 general publications and 75 publications in the refereed conferences, and my research areas include academic and research leadership, the financial and productivity assessment of higher education, and also the structural engineering and sustainable built environment and the construction project management. This is just an aerial view of how the Karakoram International University is looking like. It's falling on the confluence of 2 rivers. On the left, we have the river Hunza, and on the right, we have the river Gilgit. And this delta-like lane of Karakoram University is one of the most scenic parts of the city when you come to Gilgit. The brief outline of the presentation is that there will be introduction to the different parts, and then we will discuss how the external linkages are important and how the university can develop its own linkages and what can be the major stakeholders, and again the importance of the alumni in the external linkages and other things like that we will discuss. Before I start formally with the presentation, I would like to share with you some quotes, and these quotes interestingly shows the some of the very prominent quotes. For example, Brett Harris has said that the beauty of collaborations between older and younger generations is that we combine strengths with wisdom, and a surefire way to accomplish more for the glory of God. We'll go with David Emenek, Synergy without strategy result to waste of energy. So we need to have a strategic thinking, and at the same time, we also have to be careful about our synergies. People think, as people think and work together, a fabric of shared meaning comes into being. Harris Owen, be a creator, not imitator, competitor, and not follower. Success happens when you create, collaborate, and then partner and dominate. Dialogue is not competition to be smart, but it is a competition to be a correct person in a room. It is collaboration that brings truth. Similarly, there are a couple of other presentations, quotations like peace begins with listening to understand, feeling the suffering of others, and valuing collaborations or conflict. That Jeffrey White. Amitre has said that innovation needs preparations, collaboration, and the light of the soul. Every challenge is provide that light, a greater depth of understanding about life and truth. Genuine collaboration is an environment that promotes communication, learning, maximum contribution, innovation. That is Jen Ripley. We just look at the overall distribution of the various online communities, and this might be a bit older, but certainly it shows that how the people around the world, this is the 2008, almost 11 years back data, but I think that would continue. That the Facebook is by and large the highest social media portal, and then that is followed by LinkedIn, YouTube, MySpace, Google, Flickr, uh, Wikipedia, Yahoo Groups, and Twitter. And maybe currently the WhatsApp is becoming more famous in this part of the world. We generally define the linkages as the relationship between partner organizations is a quite loose, while in networking it's much stronger. Usually because the group of agencies have common objectives and beneficiaries. Networking basically expanding the outreach of resources in different ways so as to increase of the effectiveness of the program. The areas of open operation can be increased through networking. So normally the linkage is a more loose and informal relationship, whereas the partnership is a more formal and involving more than two or three partners. So the networking can be a broader uh, portal, more formalized, in which the partners can have their own objectives and their own roles. In my this presentation, I have also just placed few slides about the leadership, and I'll be going to also give you some change by some visuals that leadership is driving ahead of others, acting when others are just thinking about. So you have to be leading by driving ahead of others, and while working when majority of your followers are sleeping somehow. Now, the universities can establish linkages and networking activities with local, national, and international entities for mutual benefits and assistance needed. Area of linkages can be research, academia, programs, community engagement, and many other kind of linkages we can discuss later. This is just a few snapshots from the University of Iowa United States, that how they have some guidelines provided to the staff and to the people who are interested in developing the new linkages with the University of Iowa and UI, and how this linkage agreement can be drafted. So there are some basic principles provided by the university, and they are asked to first carefully consider the following questions. As a general rule, if any of the following elements is lacking in MOU or international memorandum of understanding should not be signed. The first is a history of cooperation between the two proposed partner institutions. it's very important that when you are going for a linkage partnership with universities or research organizations, there must be a history of cooperations between the two partners. And then there must be a strong potential for mutual benefit, because you see that linkage or partnership cannot be just a one-sided story. So both the partners should find a common ground for their mutual benefit. Thirdly, is to comply with the legal restrictions and university regulations. This is very important because in some part of the world, and particularly in Pakistan, if you are going for international linkages and partnerships, you have to solicit the permission from the Higher Education Commission and also the government of Pakistan. So there might be some other aspects, financial and legal aspects, which you have to be very careful. The next very important is the financial obligations of the partners, and this is very important because many times we have seen that once the MOUs have been signed and the financial matters are not being settled properly, at later stages can create problems for the partners. Uh, then there must be a contact person on both sides which should be identified, and how this partnership is going to be supported from different colleges, departments, or faculties of the universities, and what can be their role in this partnership. And then how this partnership or linkage will be evaluated on a timeline. So these are some of the questions which we normally place before us when we are going to develop a partnership or a linkage uh, with some university or organizations. Now, when we are choosing the relationships, we are very much interested to see that what are our goals, what are the objectives which we have placed before us to develop this partnership and linkages, and what kind of relationship is necessary to accomplish these goals. For example, is it a short-term partnership or relationship we need, or we need to have a long-term relationship for achieving our goals and objectives? Are there resources available with us for this kind of partnership? And this is very important to assess before we go into the legal relationship between the two organizations. We must have ensured that the resources are available at our disposal to be utilized for the execution of this partnership. And finally, is there sufficient trust and commitment to support it? This is very important for the success of the partnership, that the organization and the executive and senior management should have a support to the partnership. Again, a leadership quote: leadership is taking care of supportive team, not involving their assignment. So this is very, you have seen that how this plane is stuck into the bus or the lorry, and as a leader you have to be careful about the rules, but definitely you have to give the room to others to work. Now, the networking is a several institutions. There are a couple of networks around the world in which a good number of universities are linked together. They have some common interests and ideals and some objectives, working together to attain a common objectives, undertaking innovative practices, and share information and breakthrough in a different discipline. So this can be a broader perspective in which more than one institution can collaborate for a common purpose and common values. This is just showing you some of the international university linkages, for example, International Research Universities Network, and then we have almost a dozen more institutions or platforms where the universities in the different parts of the world are partnering with each other. Again, a leadership quote: that leadership is reaching the top and staying there. It's very important for the leaders that, first of all, you always have a high goal, and once you achieve the goals, you try to further improve your goals and try to stay there for a long time. The collaboration, which is a process through which parties who see different aspects of a problem can explore constructively their differences and search for a solution that go beyond their own limited vision of what is possible. So collaboration is a bit broader context in which the institutions who are partners to the collaboration or are part to the collaborations are looking for a out of box solutions, and maybe the solution which you have in your mind is not sometimes sufficient. Collaboration propels organizations to become a learning organization. So if we really want to learn, we have to be a collaboration organization. tapping the reservoir of academic and diversified resources of both entities and responding in innovative and creative ways to the needs of the collaborators, helping to build an equitable dynamic partnership. So this is very important that you go for a dynamic and equitable partnership, accelerating the social impact of people and organizations around the world through innovative collaboration. So you try to innovate and create new friends and new collaboration partners, uh, broadening the notion of the knowledge partnership between collaborators. So this is very important. This is the four quadrants and how the collaborations can be a quadruple model for different kind of objectives. For example, it can be academic collaboration. For example, you can set the consortia, you can reinforce the innovation and research effects efforts. You can collaborate leadership, strengthen the social mission of the universities. You can create authentic vision and strategies. When you come to the transfer of knowledge as a important part of the collaboration, then you can have the promotion of individual and institutional expertise, workshop and seminars, thematic interest groups, and task forces. You can also work for a internationalization of university through collaboration is a very important again that when you really want to become an international partner. Academic mobility is another opportunity of the collaboration that you want to make your faculty, your students, your staff mobile on the international portal. So this is another way. Now there can be a lot of benefits. I'll not go into details, but you may read it. That it is the best practices we share, and we are deriving new coalition models to improve the sustainability and the deliveries of the higher education institutions. For the institution, for example, the benefits can be many. It can provide international visibility to the institution, which becomes part of the collaboration. It can provide access to large number of HEIs in Pakistan and overseas. It can expand the research collaboration opportunities, exchange of knowledge and expertise, networking and participation. At the individual level, why the collaboration is important for us to develop as a faculty, as a researcher, that it gives you access and mobility to, at all levels. It can access to centralized platform for exchange and collaboration. It access for funding, innovative ideas, collaboration in government funded projects, networking opportunities for projects, and visibility of individual expertise. So collaborations can provide a very great opportunity to the individuals for national and international networking. Again, a leadership quote: leadership is targeting the goal, totally focused. So you cannot afford to miss the target in leadership. You have to achieve your targets. Now, the networking, we try to share the information. Very important that the information sharing is really very important. That when you are networking and collaborating with your partners, you are trying to develop your new networks and share your information. The second important advantage of the networking can be developing your connections, that how the opportunities can knock, you want to be in a position to take advantage of it, and then you many times there's a need for information sharing, joint ventures, partnerships, and even need of for services. So the connection with the people at the national and international level is another opportunity promotion. The collaboration and networking gives promotions and high visibility to the universities at a larger platforms, and that creates a good word of mouth about the universities, the institutions, and it spreads your good image also. It brings credibility to institutions and individuals when they are collaborating with each other, when they are networking with each other, and certainly it creates a good reputation. And by the end of the day, you attract good number of students, both domestic and international. Uh, Another leadership quote: leadership is nurturing the team in a new style. So you see that how this gentleman is providing comfort to this small kitten. The collaboration have a lot of opportunities. It's a process through which parties who see different aspects of a problem can explore constructively their differences and search for a solution that go beyond their own limited vision of what is possible. So we try to explore the opportunities. We have the connections and support. You have advice and pool of expertise, and we have access to the services of others. So this creates a lot of opportunities for us to it brings the values shared, and definitely the values of the partners are shared together to strengthen our values also. It is also synergistic partnership, for example, combination of perspectives, skills, expertise, resources. It is how they generate the improved ideas, innovations, they collaborate, and so on. So you can see that there are a lot of synergistic partnership benefits, that how can you develop a sustained partnerships through collaborations and networking. So another leadership visual, our leadership is breaking all records. Yes, you will make your record and then you will try to break your own record to establish the new record. So for the leaders, there is no final record. They are trying to break their own records and then try to create the new records. Now, the engagement with the universities and the institution can be at different level. For example, it can be a partnership, it can be a volunteer engagement, it can be engaged scholarship, it can be shared responsibility, accountability, and transparency, and sustainability. Now, the role of external linkages and partnership office is very important. This offers a campus-wide leadership in engaging our internal and external communities in advancing the mission of the higher education institution through philanthropic activities, government and community advocacy, building alumni support, and enhancing the stature of the institution. So this is very important that normally in universities we have the external linkages offices or partnership offices. They are sometimes called the University Advancement Office, or sometimes the University External Linkage Office, sometimes the Student Development and External Linkage Office, and maybe sometimes it is called as a Directorate of External Linkages and Cooperation, or maybe Office of the Advancement and Linkages. So there are some of the names given to these offices in universities. Jalton, are very sorry that we have some problem of electricity in the Gilgit today, and you can see some blinking lights. So sorry for that. Now, the rules of the external linkage office can be summarized under three major heads that they external linkage office will develop the university students. They will develop the external linkages with the alumni, the government, and the community. They will also arrange the ceremonies and events like convocations, workshops, seminars. They will also communicate with the public affairs and marketing offices of the university and outside. Another very interesting and beautiful leadership visual, that leadership is reaching the unreachable. So you see that how beautifully this built environment has been created, and the most interesting is the access provided to these houses is basically the art, that how these houses have been made accessible to the people, and that what leadership should also have access to all the people. So the type of linkages can be alumni networking engagements. We have already discussed the corporate uh, relations. There can be community information, and there can be coordination for the forums and events different. Now, the corporate relationships is one of the strongest relationship of universities with external corporates, and it can be strong industrial linkages, chambers, business forums, organizations, corporate partners with the campus to create opportunities for participation. These partnerships enhance campus programs and events while meaningfully delivering on business objectives. So this is one of the very important roles of the organization. The next very important role of the office is to conduct seminar, workshop, conferences, convocations, co-curricular forums, student sports, and related activities. Leadership is a blend of tradition and modern style. So you will go side by side and hand by hand with the traditional approaches and also bringing the new innovative solutions. This is a kind of strategic approach that how the university CERCO's research office has developed their corporate relationship continuum, that it would start an awareness, and after awareness that will involve the internal and the external stakeholders, and then that will be followed by support from the student, from the grants, from the curriculum, from the workshop, and then we will go to the sponsorship, that university will try to initiate the sponsorship, the research support, the collaborative research, the outreach programs. And once that is done, then the next step would be the strategic partnership, that you would try to explore more strategic partners in terms of executive relationships, partnership agreements, major research and gifts, and then giant approaches to funding, resources, business development, and so on. The third, a very important role of the external linkages office would be strengthening the alumni networking and engagements, and this is one of the most important part of the university. That for the alumni who have been graduated from the university, their alma mater has a great value. So the external linkages office will also try to develop and foster a lifelong relation between the alumni and their alma mater, maintaining a database of all alumni updated from the time to time, composing itself to arrange special events and get-togethers. It aspires to have a community developed on this alumni portal so that they can interact, share their views, and stay in touch with each other worldwide. Engaging alumni in the curriculum review, program development, and monitoring and feedback. This is really very important, because when we think of outcome-based education and focus on the development of our student to respond to the job market, it's very important to engage our alumni, and the alumni feedback in different aspects of the curriculum review is very important. In collaboration with the academic affairs, influential and successful alumni can be invited back to share their professional experience with students, and they can be really very helpful for the development and mentorship of our students. The latest global trends in the alumni relationship is that they are still the students, they are not the graduates. They are again given the opportunities to develop themselves by active linkages with the university. Traditional rigid concept of students and alumnus are breaking down. So there was a time that we used to call the people who have graduated as alumni, but definitely now they are also student, and the student are alumni, and the alumni are students. Early networking connections, early talent acquisition, lifelong learning. It's very important that the university should start collaboration and networking with its graduates as early as they can do, because that can be a very strong force. Another leadership visual. Leadership is driving the competition away. So you will be always in a competition, and the competition will be never ending, and you will be pushing the competition, and then again, definitely winning the competition. We shared this slide, but there has been some change in the readership and use of the different online communities, but certainly still the Facebook and the WhatsApp to some extent might be the highest used. The social networks of alumni are very important, because alumni are already using these sites. They provide services that you cannot. Visibility for institution and some alumni can drive traffic through your site, increases communication with key group. Other site are alternative voice in addition to the official site. So the alumni voice is really very important, and you can have a very strong connection with them to see that what they are thinking about the graduates and what improvements they would suggest in to bring in the university. The problem with the alumni portal is normally to reach them, because most of the alumni might be scattered in different part of the world and maybe in different part of the country. So their reach is always, and access to them is always a big problem. Little data back into your office. If you send uh, request to 1,000 people, it has been observed that only 50 or 25 people respond. So that's another issue that you will have to have a strong follow-up of your alumni, likely to be replaced with some other services and issue of control. There is always a problem of politics and a problem of other issues. So you have to be very careful in how to control the abuse of the alumni portals by some of the vested interests. This is a very interesting picture, and I don't know whether this gentleman has survived or not, but I think he must have survived. Leadership is demonstration of courage, leading by example. So you definitely will face the challenges, but you will try to sustain the challenges, and you will try to lead by example. And you see this gentleman is trying to reach to his destination, or the motorcycle, and maybe he's 100, at least 100 feet above, or even more above the ground. And nobody knows that whether he, if he misses the target, then what can be his destiny. Certainly he will be killed, but I'm sure that he will not be killed. He will not be killed because he is a true leader to reach his destination. The traditional alumni relationships are developing. For example, we are having the alumni associations, we have the club structures, we have the events and reunions, we have services to alumni in terms of value addition and things like that. The integrated alumni relations also call for the mission-driven relationship, identify where alumni can serve as well as be served, cross-training at staff level for external events and affairs. So it's very important that how can we be trained by the our alumni. This is another very interesting leadership uh, visual, and you see this is very common in the Pakistan Railway. I don't know whether it is still allowed or not, but uh, years back, almost 20 years back, when I was young and used to travel in the Pakistan Railway, the service of the railway canteen was really very astonishing because they were not using the normal route through the bogies, but rather they used to go outside the canteen and make the logistics from outside door to door. And this has been really a very challenging part. I'm not sure. I believe that this would have not been allowed anymore because there might be the safety issues. But definitely, this is just telling you that the knowledge is very important for leadership. The program activities which the universities can undertake with the alumni can be events, membership drives, the communications of different programs, the fundraising and prospects, tracking, the gift management, alumni relations, volunteer records, and so on. Now, the data resources which the alumni office will maintain is the student records, their services, the alumni group and volunteer, individual alumni survey, pools and other questionnaire surveys, targeted mailings, emails, events, internet research and online community, other department, and so on. Another very interesting visual showing a man, I think, feeding a small squirrel. And this is how the leadership means that you have to be careful, even the most little one of the group, because the leadership is carrying the little ones also. So you can use the internet, you can use the press cuttings, the directories of the alumni, and other record of university, the contacts, the outside resources to access to the alumni and make the alumni association more proactive and more responding to the. Now, the last few slides, that the alumni role is changing in universities and higher education institutions. They are not luxury anymore, but they are the need of university, that they have to be spread very closely connected with the alumni. They have to be contact with the alumni being of paramount importance. Information is vital for this task, that you have to keep the updated information of all the alumni who has been changing their addresses. Your database is only as good as the data you put into it. So the data, if not refined, is just like garbage in is garbage out. So you have to refine the data, update the data, and retrieve the data time to time. Data is only pertinent, it can be processed to productive relevant information. That's very important, that if it is not updated in time, then definitely it would not give you any good results. Never lose sight of the needs of the institution, mission driven and integrated with your main constituencies, applicants, students, alumni, parents, friendship, employers, local community, and so on. This is another very interesting picture in which the small monkey is taking care of the ibex. Ibex is the not only the national animal of Pakistan, but it is found in the north of Pakistan, and there are some valleys where the ibex is found in very abundance. There are some nurseries also, and when you travel to the north of Pakistan towards this the Chinese border, Punjab Pass, you would come across a good number of the ibex or markhor, which is called in the local language. These are just telling us the snapshot of the U.S. Educational Foundation website and how they are providing the different services for the development of the community and for the development of the young faculty. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today we were speaking about the importance of linkages, networking, and collaboration for the faculty. And tomorrow we will speak about the international office, the role of international office, and how this international office and internationalization of university can help the university to really become global. So thank you very much and have a nice time. Goodbye and good night. Thank you very much.